In this video, I'm going to tell you 7 weight loss myths you should ignore. If you want to control what you eat, control your body, and control your life, then hit the subscribe button so you never miss a video. I wanted to make these videos because I've heard these myths multiple times from many different sources over the different years, and I just started thinking the other day, what are some things people think that are true about weight loss but really aren't? What isn't jiving between my experience and what the science says and what people are saying? And in this video, I'm going to share the 7 that I really think you should ignore. The first one is weight loss is a lifestyle change. I know this one sounds really appealing and I know it sounds true, but weight loss is really just a habit shift. And in order to lose weight, you really just need to start changing your habits a little bit, but it's not really an overall lifestyle change. Anorexics lose weight. People who do juice cleanses lose weight. People who eat fast food and Twinkies lose weight. You really just need to start shifting your decisions a little bit, but it doesn't require an overhaul of your entire life. I would argue that maintaining the weight loss requires a greater lifestyle shift than actually losing the weight. Remember, there are many different ways to lose weight. All roads lead to Rome. Maintaining it is a lot harder, and if you haven't already, watch my previous video on how to maintain the weight loss, because that's actually the hard part. Losing it is hard enough, but it's not as hard as actually maintaining it. That requires the lifestyle shift. Losing it, not so much. Just change a few habits, make a few better decisions, and you're on your way. The second one I hear is shop the perimeter. You've heard this before. When you go to the grocery store, just shop the perimeter and don't go inside the aisles. Again, it sounds true, prima facie, but it's not really, because it ignores the nuances of grocery stores. No two grocery stores are exactly the same. You can go into a Kroger versus an Albertson versus a Ralph's versus a Hy-Vee, and they're all going to be different. In fact, each store within a chain is different, and sometimes that means the floor plan of each store is a little different. For example, the one I go to, the frozen section, is in the middle. So should I not eat anything in the frozen food section? What about the bulk section? You know, the area where they have all the nuts and the trail mix and the granola and all the other treats. Should I ignore that too? What about the brown rice and the beans and the whole grain pasta and all the canned goods? They're in the middle. What about all of the rolled oats and all the spices? There's a lot of good stuff in the middle, and if you only shop the perimeter, you're not necessarily going to be healthier, because some stores are going to keep a lot of crap on the side or on the perimeter, and they're going to keep a lot of healthy stuff in the middle. I know what they're trying to say when they say this, just shop for the less processed food. Well, why don't they just say that? That's good advice, is eat less processed food and more unprocessed food. Stay on this end of the spectrum where there's less processed food. But just saying go on the perimeter, it doesn't really make sense, because every store is going to be different. Okay, the next weight loss myth is you need to exercise a lot. I'm not saying you shouldn't exercise at all. You should actually do some exercise, even if it's just 30 minutes a day. Ideally, I think you should aim for an hour each day. I know the recommendations from a lot of government agencies is like an hour of moderate intensity exercise. Like, the bar is really low. I think they do that because they know a lot of people wouldn't do it if they demanded more. But the reality is, we're designed to move. We're designed to move our bodies. It's not always convenient to do that. We don't always want to do that. But trust me, that's a big lifestyle change. That's something you should be doing. Now, if you watch my previous videos, you know that exercise isn't a good way to lose weight. It's a good way to maintain it, not necessarily a good way to lose it, because you only burn so much in 30 minutes, 60 minutes. Even if you're doing something like Orange Theory or HIIT training or the workout of the day, your local CrossFit gym, it doesn't really matter. You can only burn so much. And EPOC, the post-exercise oxygen consumption, whatever it stands for, it's kind of overrated. I don't think you're burning that much more. Not enough to warrant that giant muffin that you can buy at Costco. You should exercise even if it doesn't lead to any more weight loss. It's really healthy in every way. There's really no reason why you shouldn't be exercising. I think the big problem is a lot of people aren't doing any exercise, and don't wait until the new year either. The next myth is you have to adopt a diet. Diets are almost like team sports or politics. We feel like we have to choose one side. We have to root for the Patriots or somebody else. We have to root for the Republicans or the Democrats, elephants and donkeys, or whatever. I think people just like to choose sides. That's why you see so many online debates about vegan versus keto. Just watch any video on various diets, and you'll read the comments. And I don't spend too much time reading the comments, it's a waste of time, but you'll just see how vitriolic the comments can get and how heated the arguments are over diet, over what we should eat. It's really stupid how people do this, but it really is. It's almost religious in its nature. You know, people feel like they have to take one side. What I argue is, be agnostic when it comes to diets. You know, don't choose one side. Just take the best from all of them. Like I said, watch my previous video on what an ideal diet is. I think that's the video that came out before this. But it's really important to watch because it keeps things so simple. And it really is simple to lose weight and eat right. You just have to do it. My suggestion, don't do keto, don't do low carb, don't do high carb, don't do zone, don't do fruitarian. Just eat from all the different food groups. Eat in moderation, eat when you're hungry, stop when you're not hungry. I know this is controversial, but I don't believe junk food exists. Now, some choices are better than others. Some foods have more nutrients than others. Some foods you should emphasize more than others. Some foods are less processed than others. I get it. But there's no such thing as junk food. I mean, what does junk food really imply? It implies that there's no nutrition at all. Well, keep in mind, every food has the most important nutrient at all, and that's calories. You need calories to do anything. It's like fuel in the gas tank. If something doesn't have calories, it's really not very useful. You can't live on spirulina and wheatgrass and spinach. I mean, you can try, but it'd be really expensive, and you wouldn't really like it. You've got to have some high calorie foods in there. You know, you've got to have some sustenance. You've got to have something to burn. And I think that's the problem with these really low calorie diets, is because they lack the one nutrient that you really need. Now, an ideal diet has sufficient number of calories, but also has a lot of micronutrients. That's why you need whole grains, a little bit of animal protein, and some fruits and vegetables, because then you're getting everything. You're getting some micronutrients, you're getting some complex carbohydrates, and you're getting some protein and some B12 in there. That's why I don't like juice diets. That's why I don't like volumetric diets where they have a ton of vegetables. That's why I don't like fruitarian diets too much. Where it's all just like low calorie stuff. You're missing out on something, and you're probably not going to adhere to it. Try not to categorize foods as good or bad. That's really black and white thinking. That's kind of the medieval mind in our brain that wants to put everything into neat little categories. Well, it's not that easy. Okay, yes, I get it. A full apple is better than applesauce, which is better than apple cobbler. You know, I get that. But an apple cobbler, it might fill you up. It'll give you some calories, and it'll provide a little bit of entertainment in your life. It's really hard to adhere to a diet that's nothing but plain crackers and lettuce and boiled potatoes. I mean, you can do it, it's just kind of hard. You need a little bit of spice in your diet. You need a little spice in your life. Every food serves a function. The next myth is the myth of fast weight loss. I'm not a fan of losing weight really fast, or at least trying to lose weight really fast. Now, if you start making better decisions and you start to become more aware of what you're eating and you lose weight really fast, great, okay? But don't force it. I guess I should make that clear. Losing weight really fast with intention is a really bad idea. What ends up happening is you rebound. So you go like this, and then you go like this, and then you end up at a higher weight than what you initially started at. You can't beat biology. Don't try to beat biology. Don't try to go David Goggins on this. You don't need to do that. What I always recommend is half a kilogram or a pound a week. That's usually sustainable for most people. My grandma could probably do that. Okay, and if you're exercising and you're relatively young and you're active and you've got a healthy metabolic rate, that's easily doable. Now, if you can do 1.5 or 2 pounds a week without forcing it, then that's great. Don't force it. The fact is, you don't need to lose weight really fast. I know you want to look good before summer. I'm filming this in the winter, so I guess that doesn't matter. But even if it were like April or May and you were going to a wedding and you wanted to impress people, which you're not going to, by the way, it's still not worth it. Take the time, you know, hit the play button and just let it do its thing. You'll get to your goal. When you try to lose weight really fast, what ends up happening is you start yo-yo dieting. Okay, that's the worst thing to do, go up and down, up and down. It causes a lot of emotional damage and a lot of physiological damage. Why don't you just lose weight once? It's a lot better. And the last myth is losing weight will make you happier. I know this sounds kind of counterintuitive, and you think that when you reach your goal, you're just going to jump up and down and you're going to celebrate, and confetti is going to come down from the sky, and it's going to be like New Year's Day in Times Square. It's not really like that. You hit your goal and you have this jolt of enthusiasm, and you're really proud of yourself for a moment, and maybe you celebrate, but then after that, it's just life comes back to normal, and nobody really notices, nobody congratulates you, you don't get any money for it, you're not going to be on any magazine covers, nobody's really going to care, and you're not as happy as you thought you would. Doesn't mean you shouldn't do it, you absolutely should, but you're not going to be super happy, you're not going to be as happy as you thought you were. It's kind of a letdown in a way. I remember it took me so many years to return to my starting weight after, binging, purging, and over-exercising and starving for many years. I finally hit that weight, and it felt good for a few days, and then it was like, back to normal, and nobody cared. Lose weight because it's going to make you healthier, not necessarily happier. Okay, I hope you found this video educational and entertaining at the same time. Which of these myths are you still believing? Let me know in the comments below. And what are some other myths that you have about weight loss? I want to thank Focus Me. Focus Me is an app that allows me to focus and eliminate distractions. If you type in the promo code that you see on the screen, you can get 15% off your first purchase. I also want to thank Auret and Jewel at Artists. If you need help with YouTube SEO, Camtasia, Etsy, Fulfillment by Amazon, hit up Auret and Jewel. There's a link below. And don't forget my free 7-day challenge, Stop Overeating in 7 days. Join the challenge. It's absolutely free. If you're overeating, binge eating, or you just want more control over what you eat, then hit the link below and you can start your challenge today. Remember, there's no cost. And if you want to speak with me directly, there is a link below. Don't forget to check out some of my other videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.